Howdy y'all, and welcome back to VIIC Studios. I'm Michael, and this week I was struck by a lightning bolt of inspiration that irresistibly energized my creativity to turn some trash into a treasure. Today I'm excited to show you all what I made and encourage you to make treasures of your own. Welcome to Michael's Mock-Up Challenge. The goals are simple. I challenge you to make something for your layout or collection, such as a building, scenery, or rolling stock, using only things you already have laying around your house. That could be spare modeling bits, household supplies, toys, things otherwise destined for the trash, etc. I subscribe to the idea that a layout populated by mock-ups, that is, temporary or placeholder structures meant to fill a spot on the layout until replaced by another, more finished model as time and money allows, will help a layout look more complete than leaving those spots empty in the hopes that you'll just fill that in later when the final model is finally done. Combine that with my pack rat tendency to scavenge materials that could be used for modeling, and I've grown fond of using odds and ends to make mock-ups for my model railroad. And as prices in this hobby keep getting higher and higher, I want to encourage creativity modelers of all ages and skills to stretch their wings and try growing their collections for the low price of $0. Don't be discouraged if what you end up making for this challenge looks rough. It's just meant to scratch a creative itch and add some color to your layout until you're ready to replace it with a finer model down the road. I hope you'll join me, and I look forward to seeing your creativity flourish with Michael's Mock-Up Challenge. To kick off this challenge, and as you've probably seen by the title and thumbnail, join me as I show you how I turned some scraps into this N-scale World War II German U-Boat. I've long been interested in U-boats ever since playing Medal of Honor Frontline and watching Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I've never actually made a model of one. I was spurred into action last week by my friend Drew over at AGS Railway, who shared with me John Tanzillo's video on a 3D designed German midget submarine, and that led me to pondering if the dockyard scene on my nascent switching layout, more on that in a future video, might be adapted to host a submarine. And not just a midget submarine, but a full-sized Type VII. And what better way to determine if it'll fit than by building a mock-up. For the bulk of this project, I used 1/4 inch foam board I scavenged at work from posters bound for the dumpster. I love this stuff. It cuts easily with a hobby knife, can be glued together quickly with white glue or hot glue, has good strength, and takes paint well. I printed out a scaled-down sign view of a U-boat to use as my measuring guide, and built the hull using a few layers hot-glued around a central spine to give me the general shape. I had initially planned to also glue the printouts to the foam board to decorate them, but quickly decided to build the details in 3D and paint the mock-up instead. Here's the hull with the layers all put together. I made the conning tower separately from the hull, as I figured it would be easier to get the shapes accurate by stacking the boards vertically instead of horizontally with the hull pieces. I traced a glue stick to give me the curve of the front, and then eyeballed the rest of it. I'm going for a Type VII C-41 U-boat with all the extra AA guns, so I modeled an extra long conservatory online. With that done, I had the mock-up completed. Or so I thought. I quickly got the itch to add another detail or two that kept spiraling in a creative fervor. I used cardboard to make a deck to cover the foam board, as well as tidy up the side bulges. I cut other assorted shapes to make hatches here and there, following prototype photos. On the conning tower, I used some insulated wire and a bit of paperclip to make handrails for the gun platforms, each held up by a bit of toothpick. I used nails for the periscopes by literally just hammering them into the foam, and wrapped bits of elastic band around the conning tower. I then cut a bit of straw to make whatever this round thing is here. Bits of cardboard became a ladder and other details. The front wire cutter is a toothpick cut in half and held up by a paperclip. I also made an anchor using this bit from my bit box. I made the AA and deck guns by putting nails, some of which I cut down to length using my bolt cutters, into small bits of foam board with cardboard gun shields. I wanted the deck gun to be mobile, so I used the top of a nail as the base, and then added a magnet to the deck for it to attach to. I finished building by running some cotton string along the hull to serve as the antenna. The model was then primed in black, followed by a coat of gray paint. This enamel is much shinier than I'd like, but then again it does make it look a bit wet, which I hear U-boats tend to be. I then repainted the string and gun barrels black, using a Sharpie to do some touch-ups later on. For the deck, I mixed the black paint with some burnt umber and painted this around the deck, trying to avoid details that I think would remain in the metallic gray color. Finally, I added a flag. This is a House Greyjoy banner I'd previously made and printed on paper that I cut out, ran across a glue stick, and then wrapped around the flagpole. I also bent it a bit with my fingers as it was drying to give it that shape as if it's waving in the wind. And voila! Anchors away and one ping only, the U-boat is done. All that's left is to get this perfectly scale-accurate torpedo load into the hull, and the vessel is ready. As a mockup, this U-boat serves its purpose well. It's confirmed that I can accommodate a vessel of its size in my port, it looks good next to my trains, and that I have a ton of fun building ship models, so any future U-boat models that I may get, or may have already gotten, will be a rewarding experience all around. Coincidentally, I intend to have a little yard alongside my dock to serve as an inglenook switching puzzle, and the U-boat is analogous to the longest track I need. I wonder when the base U-boat measuring system will fully take off. For a size reference, here's the truck that starred in my last video, in comparison to the sub. Wow. I've also brought out some of my other mock-ups to showcase here. We've got Cranky the foam board crane, a freight house that strides the rails, and a generic factory. All were made from hot glue and foam board, with the crane getting decorated with judicious application of Sharpie. All that atop my layout, which is itself a mock-up, being a series of boxes made up of foam board resting atop a foam board frame. I can stop collecting foam board anytime I want. Thanks for taking this voyage with me, and I hope that taking part in Michael's mock-up challenge will bring waves of creativity and inspiration to your shores. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.